Welcome to the free audiobook version of The Everyday Pain Guide, your go-to guide when pain first strikes. Hi, I'm Dr. Ya-Ling Liu, and the podcast is taking a little detour to make my new book available in an audio-friendly version for everyone out there. Each episode will feature a bite-sized snippet from the book, and together we'll work our way through as much of it as is possible in this format. What's exciting about this is that I'm reading parts of the book to you before it's even available on the shelves. Plus, unlike with a traditional audiobook, you can engage with the content and chat with me about what you hear. You get to ask questions and tell me what you think as each episode rolls out. So sit back and relax as I bring you today's installment of the second book in the Everyday Pain Guide series, Fix the Fire Damage. In the last episode, we looked at how to release the first 4 items in the list of chemical sensitivities. These are substances that can make your body mount a cellular response with the intention of keeping your body machine clean. But in the process, this biological response can add to your overall body load of inflammation and pain. In this section, we're interested in unburdening your body chemistry to help your journey out of pain. So today, we'll finish up by looking at how to release the 3 final types of chemicals in this list of potential chemical stressors. Thanks for your patience as I remind everyone that the information, techniques, and suggestions discussed here are not intended as a substitute for your own medical care. Always consult a healthcare provider before implementing any advice referenced here. Release your chemical sensitivities continued. Formaldehyde. Familiar to most people for its use by funeral homes in embalming, it is also commonly found in everyday household objects like pressed wood, foam insulation, wallpaper, paints, permanent pressed fabrics, and even some cosmetics. If you've heard of the term off-gassing, that's something that happens with new furniture, carpeting, and other materials. They smell new for a while when you first bring them into your home. That smell can be made up in part by formaldehyde. Off-gassing is caused by volatile organic compounds, VOCs. And people who have multiple chemical sensitivities will feel sick when exposed to VOCs because they do impose a significant burden on your systems of detox and elimination. With time, as these gases are allowed to dissipate and become less concentrated, they can become less of an irritant. The best solution is to avoid bringing VOCs into your home when possible. For example, you can now choose low or zero VOC indoor paints. When shopping for furniture, you can search for non-toxic or low VOC brands. If shopping for mattresses, you'll find some that use wool instead of chemical flame retardants. If you find that something you bought does smell like it's off-gassing, pay attention to ventilation and use an air purifier that is rated to remove VOCs. Epoxy. Epoxies are adhesives, plastics, and coatings used to insulate and protect against corrosion in the automotive, marine, and aerospace industries, and now increasingly in electronics. The only time there's off-gassing from epoxies is if they're curing after recent application, or if they're on fire for another reason. If you're a crafter or a hobbyist who works with epoxy, always mask and wear gloves to limit your exposure. Wildfire smoke. Unfortunately, this is becoming an increasingly common source of air garbage, and it's important to be aware that the substances in wildfire smoke are not solely from burning trees. Houses and cars also catch fire in the process. All the substances in this sneaky 3 list of chemicals can be found in houses and in vehicles, and once these are on fire, the fumes will contain all of the above: petroleum, PFAS, fragrances, bleach, ammonia, diesel fumes, formaldehyde, and epoxies. Fires cause many normally inert chemicals to become airborne. This is why it's so important to wear, at minimum, an N95 mask when the air quality index is high. The way that chemicals can burden your body machine is by taxing your liver auto-detox mechanism. There may not be clear symptoms that you can point to as being related to each or any of the chemical exposures, but when the liver is busy dealing with what it perceives as high-priority poisons, like some of these chemicals, its capacity to help you process other inflammatory triggers in your food, for example, becomes diminished. When the liver is overwhelmed with work, you might experience symptoms of intolerance or sensitivity more easily. When faced with relatively minor irritants like the big three or the sneaky three food sensitivities, and you react with greater discomfort than usual, you should assume that your liver is dealing with a pre-existing heavy load. The same applies to what can often be highly variable reactions to environmental allergens from season to season. In addition to varying invisible concentrations of airborne allergens, the ever-changing load on your liver auto-detox system may also play a role. That completes another part of the first phase of the Body Chemistry Action Plan, Release, from Volume 2 of the Everyday Pain Guide series, Fix the Fire Damage. Come join me and other listeners over at Better Pain Coping on Substack, where you can chat about this or any other episode. You're also welcome to Lurk. You'll find a lot of extra content, including my own thoughts that didn't make it into the book and all the research references that informed my writing for this chapter. Check the links in today's show notes to see how you can join the conversation over there. In the next episode, you'll hear about how to release your environmental allergens as we close out this first action phase in the Body Chemistry Action Plan. See you then. This episode was an excerpt from The Everyday Pain Guide, your go-to guide when pain first strikes. Written and narrated by me, Dr. Ya-Ling Liu, with audio editing and production provided by Organized Sound Productions. Do you have questions or comments about today's episode? You can shoot me an email anytime at hello@stopeverydaypain.com. That's HELLO@stopeverydaypain.com. If you have friends or family members who you know are struggling with persistent, recurring aches and pains, tell them to check out the podcast while they're waiting for the book. To help me get this information to as many people who need it as possible, please consider leaving an honest review, but I'd also be super grateful for a simple like, follow, or share. Thank you for helping me put a stop to everyday pain.